A foil character is a literary device used to contrast qualities against the protagonist. However, foil characters appear in both literature and film. In Chapaev, there are two characters who stand as foils to our titular hero. Formanov, a commissioner dispatched to Chapaev's division from Moscow, and Colonel Borozin, a commander of the White Army and the main antagonist. The film uses foils to display these characters' different leadership styles. The contrast between these three characters is expressed in both narrative and visual language. First, let's look at their personalities. Chapaev is undisciplined and acts out based on his own feelings. Chapaev is self-taught and doesn't have the same education that other military leaders would have. Because of this background, his actions in the movie are more eccentric and unbounded by a strict regime. He lets his emotions out and yells at people for no reason other than that it inconveniences him. When Formanov tells Chapaev that he's arrested one of his men for stealing, Chapaev berates Formanov for arresting his comrade before even hearing the charges.
К чужой славе хочешь примазаться? А ну вон из дивизии, к чертовой матери!
He feels that his leadership is undermined and is more offended by that than the actual crime. Formanov acts as the other side of the coin to Chapaev. While Chapaev acts before thinking, Formanov is more thoughtful and uses logic when interacting with others. Formanov has education and training from Moscow and holds himself to a refined nature. After getting yelled at by Chapaev, Formanov calmly replies to Chapaev, telling him he doesn't need his fame. He balances out Chapaev and acts to ground him in reality. While Formanov is a positive foil to Chapaev that helps him grow as a character, Colonel Borozin is meant to be a complete opposite of Chapaev. Borozin is cold and mechanical compared to Chapaev's outbursts. While Formanov is a calmer answer to Chapaev, Borozin is a complete opposite of Chapaev. He is colder and even more reserved than Formanov. Borozin is used as a foil to show the stark contrast of the two leaders. While Chapaev has a wide range of emotions, Borozin barely shows any emotion at all. The differences between the characters can also be seen in how they interact with other characters and the actions they take. After talking with Formanov about the arrested comrade, Chapaev then addresses his men about the issue, and says if that he is caught stealing, then they can shoot him. He emphasizes that while being their commander, he's also their comrade. He lounges with his men and sings songs with them. Formanov has a less personal relationship with the soldier. He acts more as an authority than as a brother. After the soldier steals from the peasants, Formanov arrests him and disciplines him. There is no time where Chapaev acts like this. He only just yells at a subordinate until they comply. But Formanov acts with authority and calmly directs soldiers. He still has respect for the men, leading a group of deserters back into battle. The White Army commander does not have the same respect for his men. Borozin is isolated from his soldiers and leads from his office. The few interactions he has are minimal and removed from the lives of his troops. When Potapov tells the commander that his brother has been arrested, Borozin doesn't sympathize and changes the order to execute him. This impersonal leadership style helps the audience cheer for Chapaev and the Red Army, by making the White Army look like it doesn't care about the people. Finally, let's discuss the visual contrast between the three characters. The audience first sees Chapaev in command as he shouts next to a minigun. He is on the battlefield, among his men. Chapaev's dress is utilitarian and rustic. He looks more like a farmer than a soldier. His posture is relaxed when he and the audience first meet Formanov. Formanov looks like a soldier. He shows refinement and is clean-shaven. He formally offers his hand to Chapaev, who reacts without enthusiasm. After the village is taken, Chapaev is seen splayed out on a bench and coarsely munching on a potato. The room is plain. When the men plan the battle, Formanov lights his pipe, as the boisterous Chapaev demonstrates his plan with potatoes on a table. Chapaev brusquely takes Formanov's pipe from his mouth, before returning it to the composed commissioner.
Опять может быть впереди, потому как по одному человеку из орудий палить не станут. Теперь, противник.
In this scene, a stoic Formanov sits impeccably dressed. A blustery Chapaev barges in, demands that the rotten intelligistia be gone. Chapaev and Formanov square off, the former gesticulating wildly, whilst the latter sits calm. Chapaev shouts abuse at Formanov before he tears at his clothes and breaks the stool. The scene is also significant in that it establishes Formanov as Chapaev's social realist mentor. This is shown visually as Formanov stands over Chapaev. The aloof white commander is introduced in a sitting position, with a cigarette holder in his hand. Borodzin's back is to the audience, unlike Chapaev, who nearly always faces the camera. The commissioner's dress is also the opposite of Chapaev's, high-ranking military attire, adorned with medals. He looks like an authority figure and maintains constant emotional distance. Here, Borodskin sits and plays Moonlight Sonata on the piano, signifying his aristocratic background and education. The room is furnished with heavy drapes and leather chairs, a far cry from Chapaev's dull quarters. Again, as Borodzin sits on the piano, his back is to the audience. A close-up on his face reveals a dreamy expression, with eyes closed, further isolated from the world. While Petrovkin cries about his brother, Borodskin remains turned away from him, both physically and emotionally. As much as Chapaev is a man of the people, Borodskin is a man in an ivory tower. Despite his military regalia, the white commander is far removed from the front lines. By comparing and contrasting Chapaev with his mentor Formanov and his enemy Borodskin, the Vasilyev brothers create excellent foils for the socialist realist hero. Through both visual and narrative storytelling, Formanov and Borodskin highlight the bombastic charm of the never-surrendering Chapaev.